All right, let's move on now to the gay marriage vote, which we previewed and talked about a lot here on Breaking Points. It actually happened. So let's put this up there on the screen. On Tuesday night, 12 Senate Republicans joined the entire Democratic caucus to pass the Respect for Marriage Act, offering federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages. So I actually wanted to make sure that we showed that the interracial part was included in the Respect for Marriage Act. The 12 Republicans who joined, we have their names there up on the right: Roy Blunt, Richard Burr, Shelley Moore Capito, Susan Collins, Joni Ernst, Cynthia Loomis, Lisa Murkowski, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Dan Sullivan, Tom Tillis, and Todd Young from Indiana. What I find so interesting is how this is a real amalgam of a lot of different people. So you have Indiana, actually a very conservative Catholic and Protestant population there. Joni Ernst, also from Iowa, big Catholic population in Iowa. But also Cynthia Loomis. I mean, she has absolutely nothing to gain from this vote. Mitt Romney, representing the state of Utah. I mean, the Mormon Church they were on kind of interesting sides on this issue. Also, Dan Sullivan from Alaska. Both the Alaska
Utah, though,
senators.
is arguably the most conservative state in the entire country.
Yeah, by some metrics. Yeah, it is the most conservative state in the entire country. And also Shelley Moore Capito and Richard Burr is retiring, and so is Roy Blunt. So I think it might be a little bit different on their ends. It's not a surprise to see Susan Collins and Murkowski, but I do think some of the names on here do kind of surprise me in terms of what they are going for and whatnot. So I think, look, in general, part of the reason why a lot of it matters is it shows you how much the country has changed. Let's put this on the screen about U.S. approval even of, I can't even believe that this graph actually exists. But it does show you just how much social change can happen in a relatively short period of time. This is U.S. approval of marriage between black and whites from 1958 to 2021. So in 1958, the overall wording on the question was 4% approval, is now 94% today in 2021. Or sorry, in 2021, when the last time that this was polled. On gay marriage, actually, you're now at overall nearly 70% approval, even with a majority of Republicans, including actually even boomer Republicans who support gay marriage. So it's a landmark moment for the country, which we're all kind of moving past because it does feel so far gone, but it just got passed through the U.S. Senate with almost no consternation, like no demonstrations or anything. Everyone just kind of was, okay, great, and then they moved on. Which in and of itself, if you had told me that in 1995, if I'd been an adult then, I would have been like, wow, that's crazy. I would not have expected that.
I mean, Ben Shapiro had some consternation, so there was some consternation out there. But yeah, looking at that graph of approval of marriage between black people and white people. When I was born, only 40% of Americans.
That's pretty wild.
That is crazy. That is crazy to me. And now, I mean, 6% say no. Some like racist fringe freaks out there, but it is in a way a disconcerting graph, but also hopeful in the pace of social change there. It is incredible to think back, President Obama not supporting gay marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, actually Biden kind of forcing his hand there in the second.
That was a big deal.
In the second term, that was a big deal. He won the sort of lifetime loyalty of a good chunk of the LGBTQ community, at least like the activist leaders, for forcing Obama's hand on that. So it has been a remarkable pace of change. On the other hand, you look at, okay, you got 12 Republicans, they're able to get it through. That is extraordinary. On the other hand, you're like, what are you other people doing? Because you're now out of step with your own base on this issue. And that's a testament to the power that the organized religious right still has within the Republican Party. And so it'll be interesting to see if this ends up being a kind of a litmus test issue going forward in terms of primaries, or do they just kind of realize they're on losing ground here once again and drop it and move on?
Yeah, I really don't know how it will go. I think, like I said, the only person who politically it would make sense for was Ted Cruz, because he is the bastion of the evangelicals in the Republican primary, or was at that time. What do you
think about Rubio's positioning on this?
Hey, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I mean, he is devout Catholic, so
he's clearly trying. Well, I mean, but his excuse was just like, oh, this is a waste of time, which was a stupid.
But we talked about that here.
Yeah.
But when you have to vote, how are you going to vote? That's why I actually found it interesting. What they're all saying, and again, I don't actually know if this is true or not. What they're saying is that there's not enough protections for Catholic charities, and that it institutes some sort of legal regime under which Catholic charities and other Christian organizations could be sued. Maybe that's possible. I did see Senator Romney and the other Republicans who did vote for it say that there are concerns about because there were some initial ones that weren't getting 60.
They got modifications to the bill to reflect whatever their religious liberty concerns
Right, exactly. So I don't know, what their exact concern is or not. I think it's one of those where maybe they just voted how they believe and don't believe that they'll pay any costs because he also just won re-election and he's going to be in the Senate for the next 6 years and he won by 20 points. So.
I think I read it more as apparently there was news he's like putting out a book. And it looks like he may also be thinking about being like number, 24.
Everybody give it up.
Republican thing running for president.
Do us a favor.
So anyway, I read it more as he's concerned that it could be a vulnerability in a Republican primary, which it may well be.
Very possible.
May well be.
Very possible.
Yes. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.